Earning $187,000 and under mortgage stress. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this article from the Daily Mail discussing a situation where people earning over 180 grand, $187,000 would be under mortgage stress. That's the Aussie way, guys. That's Australia. Isn't it fantastic? So, even the rich are struggling with their mortgages. Homeowners earning $187,000 a year will soon be shelling out half their salary on repayments on an average property. Now, here's the issue, everyone. The average property is no longer for the average Australian. That's just where it's going. It's not for the average Australian, and it's not for the individual either. It's for a couple. Most of these households, and we need to think about it from household income, not individual income, household income. You both need to work. The feminist one, you can't have one partner staying at home raising the kids or raising the families. You both have to work now. That's just what has to happen, guys. Australia isn't like it was anymore. And the average person, well, maybe a house isn't for you. You've got to be a renter forever now. Kind of sucks, doesn't it? Is this really the Australia that we want? You tell me. Sadly, I don't think anything's going to change. High-income Australians, or a high-income Australian, someone earning more than $187,000 per year, and just imagine how much tax they'll have to pay. I can't be bothered working it out, but it'd be an insane amount. Who bought a typical home little more than a year ago, will be in severe mortgage stress with just 2 more interest rate rises. CanStar calculated such an individual who bought an ordinary Sydney house in April 2022, where the median price peaked at $1.4 million, will be owing more than half their pre-tax salary on monthly mortgage repayments once rates reach their expected peak. So let's bring up this rate rising Excel chart that I like playing with here, because there's a few things that they're discussing here. So we'll jump that over. What are we saying? They're going $1.4 million. So that's, wait a minute. So 1400000 roundabout, which is nearly double the average New South Wales mortgage. Definitely double the Victorian one, and several times more the actual first home buyer's mortgage. So if you've got a $1.4 million mortgage, you're right up there. But I mean, even if it's a bit less because of, let's say that it's 1.2 because they had a deposit, guys. You're looking at, if you're paying 6.69%, which is what many of the variable rates are at the moment, $7,735, 90 grand, $92,000 a year. So you wouldn't be, I hope you wouldn't be borrowing this much money on just $180,000, because you'll be destroyed in tax anyway. Oh boy. So, but maybe there are people doing. Surely they wouldn't. If you're earning that much money, you'd have the sense to not be that stupid, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Let me know. Let me know, because I know there's some of you that would be earning that much. Let us know. Yeah, it's probably, someone on 200 grand a year, driving a shitty old Camry from 88, living in a 200 grand house, wearing, Kmart clothes, doesn't give a shit about money, just all good. Or, making fat stacks of dividend-paying shares, to retire early. But they're addicted to it, so they're never going to retire. So, it's significantly higher than the standard definition of mortgage stress, which includes anyone devoting more than a third of their pay on servicing a loan. Now, the housing stress definition, and let me find that here, is definition, housing stress, yep. Here we go. It's typically defined as lower income households, so not everyone, not the rich people, spending more than 30% of their gross income on housing costs. So a mortgage would be the same thing. I prefer the definition with regards to mortgage stress, where you've got more money coming out than coming in. That's the more sensible approach. Because this stress, oh no, you're spending more than a third of your money on your mortgage. For some people, that's meaningless. Some people voluntarily pay extra to get into that situation. It seems like an outdated metric. Anyway, and Sydney's not the only city where such mortgage stress is common. Six-figure income earners who borrowed at the maximum capacity earlier last year to purchase middle-market housing in Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, Canberra and Hobart now face paying more than 40% of their salary on monthly loan repayments. Yes, but these people are not going to be doing that. They're not going to be borrowing to the max. Most of them, I guarantee you, if they're earning that money, will have significant savings to throw to a deposit. And it's probably going to be two high-status individuals married or in a couple together, most likely. Making matters worse, their repayments would be climbing even as they owed the bank more than their house was worth, a situation known as negative equity. Yeah, oh, come on. I mean, you've got to paint it negative. Remember, we have to paint the negative articles to get the views. That's what this agenda is. That's sadly what media is nowadays. The Reserve Bank of Australia's 12th rate rise since May 22, taking the cash rate to an 11-year high of 4.1%, have diminished how much banks can lend. Oh, that's one argument. This has caused Sydney's median house price to decline by 9.2% over the past year to $1.294 million. So what they're doing is they're crafting a story, a narrative here, where if you are bought at the peak in the most expensive city in the country by yourself, so this is like let's say it's a MGTOW Chad bro who's bought himself an overly expensive house, and now he's getting burned because he's gone too far into debt. It's how realistic is this? But hey, it gets the eyeballs. It gets people scared. The continued high rate of inflation mean three of Australia's big four banks, ANZ, NAB and Westpac, expect the Reserve Bank to keep rising interest rates in July and August. This will take the cash rate to 4.6%, the highest since November 2021. So they're in line with trading economics predictions that will head to 4.6%. Remember, I wouldn't be worried about someone earning 187 grand in mortgage stress. Who cares? You're bringing that much money in, you got options. They'll be fine. Okay, they'll be fine. They'll find a way to make it work. That's not a problem at all. The issue is the people who got in with the 2% government-backed house deposit bloody scheme, who were stretched to the limit, who didn't have any deposit, hardly anything, that were kind of incentivized in by the government into the market, and now they're screwed over because they believed the media reporting that the Reserve Bank wouldn't increase rates until 2024. They're the people that we should feel sorry for. They're the people that are going to get screwed over. Who cares about the guy earning, or the couple, or the person earning $187,000? If they're on that money, they've got options. If you're a single parent who's gone in under a 2% bloody government deal to buy a house and rates are climbing up beyond your threshold, you couldn't even scrape together a deposit, you're going to have less options. And the question is, should the government be doing shit like that to get people into the property market, even if it wins votes? This is the problem. These stupid ideas win votes. People will go, oh, yeah, I want this. I want my freebies. Give me all this free shit. They don't realize what they're voting for. It's not going to get any better, is it? It really isn't. At least it'll be years of content to bitch and moan about. There you go. That's good for YouTube. Depressing for the future of the country. Canstar finance expert Steve Mickenbacker said the Reserve Bank's most rapid rate hikes since the target cash rate era began in 1990 were making mortgages increasingly unaffordable. The pace of interest rate rises over the past year has resulted in an unprecedented escalation in the amount of household income that is absorbed by repayments, he said. Interest rates have gone up so quickly that pay rises have gone nowhere towards covering higher repayments. Sydney wasn't the only mortgage-stressed city, with six-figure income earners who borrowed at maximum capacity early last year. Buying the middle market houses in Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, Canberra and Hobart soon or all likely to be paying more than 40% of their salary on monthly loan repayments. Yes, but if this is they're crafting this narrative based on an individual salary, not on a household income. You got two people coming together. That's what's going to happen. So if you're sitting there watching, reading the article, oh, look at this, it's all going to come collapsing. You know, yeah, I wouldn't be holding my breath, guys. Canstar calculated that an individual with 187, yeah, we saw that. Mortgage stress. So 187 income is paying 50% of their salary. 141 is paying 47%. 128 in Brisbane is paying 46% of their salary on a mortgage. So let us know if you're on 130 grand in Brisbane, if you're paying half your salary on your mortgage. Now, if you're paying that and your partner's earning that, then okay, it's not going to be 46% of the household income. It'll be 25% of the household income. So you'll be fine. You're not under stress. Hey, it may even be cheaper than rent. That's Australia. Adelaide, 106 grand. So this is showing us where we need to move. Perth, 95 grand. Darwin, 94. Hobart, 120. And Canberra, 150. We'll scroll past these things. Someone on this kind of salary would also be in the top income tax bracket, with just 4.1% of income taxpayers earning more than 180 grand a year in 2020, 2021, to be paying the top marginal tax rate of 45%. And the media would destroy them. They're the greedy people getting those big tax cuts. Oh, this country. Assuming a deposit of 20% or $283,000, this high-earning individual will be paying off a $1.13 million loan. Okay, so let's look at that. We'll bring that over here, 1.13. On 30 years, you're going around about 5 grand a month up to 100 grand a year. Shit. You have to be in a couple then if you're borrowing that much. How many first home buyers are doing that? But this is the average mortgage right here. Okay? So I'm hoping people weren't as stupid as the media's portraying them, and I don't think they really are. So that's 6 times his or her income, which was near the limit of the Australian Prudential Regulation Authority's mortgage stress threshold. That's even before the aggressive rate hikes, putting the individual at the maximum borrowing capacity in early 2022. For a double-income household, the mortgage burden was clearly reduced, but still extremely high for average income earners. Yeah, houses aren't for average people anymore in Australia. That's what you voted for, people. It's going to keep getting that way. It's not going to get any easier. You're kidding yourself if you think it's going to get any easier. It's just going to get more and more expensive. Construction is going to get more and more expensive. We've got what, 10 million dwellings in Australia. You've got 500,000 people a year coming in. Do the maths. There you go. There's your supply and demand equation right there. Okay? Forget everything else. It's right, just that. That's going to put demand on all existing infrastructure. Then you layer on all of the regulations, the supply shortages, the labor issues, the construction apocalypse. Oh, and then don't forget, housing's the tool that's used to stimulate the economy. It's the Australian way. Canstar applied the calculation to a couple earning $187,000 between them, based on both of them earning close to an average full-time salary of 94 grand. Assuming an increase in the interest rate on their mortgage, climbing from 2.98% in April to 7.48% in August, their repayments would consume 66% of their post-tax income. Canstar also found severe mortgage stress in other cities, even where median house prices were lower. In Melbourne, yeah, we've looked at this. I mean, the mortgage stress phenomenon would also apply in Australia's most affordable capital city markets. In Perth, a couple earning 95 grand. Let's have a talk about this one, guys. So there we go. I mean, some fear about mortgage stress. Why don't you tell us, if you're in mortgage stress, how you're coping, or what lifestyle changes you're making, or if you even are. We've got such a mixed bag of viewers here on the channel, and frankly, I think we're more inclined to have viewers that are, shall we say, financial gigachads that have got their shit together. The media is going to always paint a picture leaning towards the negative, leaning towards the bias. So we'll get this skewed idea that everyone in Australia is some stupid idiot that's borrowing $50 billion to buy some shitbox. It feels like it. And sure, there are people like that, and they've made stupid mistakes. Some of them will. What we need to really be critical of is the government incentivizing people that couldn't even save a deposit to get into housing. And what trouble they'll get in. Is that entrapment? You tell me. So anyway, guys, there we have it. Honestly, if you're on that level of income, you have options. You should exercise them. As always, thanks for watching. Check out HeiseBIM or Heise Does. And if you're a fan of the channel and enjoy the content I discuss here, you can support us on YouTube or Patreon, use our referral links, buy our pocket squares, or call me if you need an architect. Take care, have a great day, and I will see you all in the next episode of HeiseSays. Bye for now.